Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our interview sessions. And we have here Brian from Jito Labs. Happy to have you with us today at the Staking Summit 2025. How is it so far for you?
It's awesome. You guys have put together a really good event. So first time here, but
First time.
Yeah.
Okay. And as well, first time in Dubai or?
first time in 15 years. So
No.
it's changed a lot since then.
Yeah, of course. There are a lot of buildings, I imagine, built up since this time. All right. So could you explain our audience a little bit more about yourself, how you got involved into crypto? What was your let's say way into the crypto ecosystem?
Yeah. So I grew up in the States and went into traditional finance after college. Did that for almost a decade. So started my career doing investment banking and then worked at a hedge fund doing traditional kind of fundamental based investing for almost 7 years. But I kind of just lost inspiration and excitement about that career track and didn't really know at all what I was doing next. So quit with no plans. This was, middle of 2020 when DeFi summer was really happening. And all of a sudden you could see parallels of like all of what was happening on Ethereum and how that mapped out to the traditional financial products that I knew from my career, and saw that there was real utility and, potentially a lot of efficiency gains coming from crypto. So I just got sucked in, would see random things on Twitter, started reading about it, spent more and more time reading it. And then, got hooked. And actually found Solana in early 2021 when, had used Ethereum a little, but back then it was so expensive. I was like, this isn't really that accessible. I don't know if this is going to work. And then was just blown away by Solana the first time I used it. And so I've been involved in the Solana ecosystem since early 2021, seeing the entire DeFi ecosystem evolve. Was able to join Jito in the fall of 2021 and fall of 2022. And it's just been a wild ride seeing how far Solana's come.
Yeah.
And, that was before we launched any products at Jito.
Yeah.
And so how kind of Jito has evolved to be a core piece of the Solana story.
Yeah. How many gray hairs did you got in your time in banking and in your time in crypto so far? What would you say?
Much more in crypto. Yeah.
I can imagine.
4 years in crypto has felt much longer than 10 years I spent in traditional finance.
Yeah, I can imagine. And could you explain a little more what is Jito Labs doing? So why did you start at Jito Labs? What's the purpose of it?
Yeah, so I started at Jito Labs, but I moved to the Jito Foundation about 6 months ago, actually. So that's where I am now. But in aggregate, Jito kind of creates the economic infrastructure for how core value is distributed across Solana. So the first two products were closely tied together. One is just a liquid staking token. I'm guessing most listeners are familiar with that. It's the largest liquid staking token on Solana, and we can get into that further. The second is NEV infrastructure for how NEV profits can be redistributed in a positive sum way through the rest of the network. It was heavily inspired by the work that Flashbots had done, which is already well established at that time. And it's grown to be, the main format for that on Solana. And it's a way to kind of have a execution express lane for transactions on Solana.
What would you say, what's the simplest way to explain MEV to, let's say, beginners? So what is the best explanation for it in short?
Without bringing in bad connotations, I would say it's like you think of like a high frequency trading firm, like a Citadel or a Jane Street, and they do a lot of short-term price trading around, where things are going to move on a, second by second basis. And the beauty of crypto and the NEV infrastructure that has been developed on Solana by Jito is it's a way to capture a chunk of those profits and redistribute it to validators and stakers of the network so that it's actually democratizing that value transfer and helping secure the network.
How did you find out that there is the need for it at the moment?
Yeah, so our founders, Lucas Bruder and Zano, saw that NEV can create negative externalities on the network. And this is especially true on chains that have very low fees and high transaction throughput. So you can see kind of what was happening with Binance Smart Chain and Polygon, and they were bullish on Solana at the time. It was very nascent in Solana DeFi, but they recognized Solana is going to need a solution to this problem. And so they started just building out what they thought that solution should be. At the time, it was heavily inspired by Flashbots, and it's continued to evolve into a more Solana native version as the market has matured.
And what would you say MEV extraction is, I would say, a super sensitive topic. How does Jito ensure that MEV MEV benefits stakers fairly without harming the decentralization?
I think MEV is a loaded word. Some elements of MEV are negative. Like, I personally think that front-running user trades and resulting in worse execution is bad. And Jito has taken a lot of steps to help prevent that, even though there are some instances of it on Solana, but has worked hard and continues to innovate on ways to reduce that. Other aspects are more vanilla arbitrage that is actually healthy for the market, that if you have the same asset trading at different prices across various AMMs or venues on a chain, that is bad for users because that makes their life harder. And so I think there are a lot of positive benefits of MEV, and Jito is focused on maximizing the positive benefits as well as distributing some of those profits and trying to minimize the negative aspects. In decentralization, the way the software works is it's actually permissionless, and everyone can profit the same on a pro rata basis. And so it's actually a protection against kind of centralized validators that have special technology and earn outsized rewards, because it's critical that everyone has the same opportunities on a blockchain, or else it will no longer really be a blockchain. It will end up being centralized in a few of the most profitable parties and a very negative feedback loop.
What do you think, what are the most or the biggest trends at the moment going on in the market? So what should our audience take a look out?
The Solana market is evolving very, very quickly, mostly just based on how much usage there's getting, how many new teams are coming in and developing new formats and techniques for trading on Solana. So I would say the biggest thing to be aware of is, just for anyone who's not paying attention, Solana is generating more real economic, like more trading activity, as well as fees associated with that go to the network than any other crypto network. It was over $500 million of MEV tips in February, which is an astronomical sum. And Solana's been number one for over 6 months. And so just the volume of activity and the quantum of dollars here is extremely large. And so it's very relevant when you're, staking to a validator or staking in a liquid stake pool to be aware of how much of that you're getting and how the validator is performing on those metrics.
What would you say, what is the special source from Solana that they have these kind of adoption and hyper growth? Is it only meme coins, or what is, or community? They focus on in other way than other projects in communities? Or what do they differentiate them from other networks, and how do they better in some parts to have bigger adoption, right?
Yeah, it all starts with the tech in crypto. And today, Solana is just the best tech of any L1 network. And so if you look at 2,000 or more transactions per second and the volumes that were happening and the transactions that were happening for all of this year, no other crypto network could handle that. Certainly not one with any level of decentralization like Solana has. And so that enables a much wider design space for people to build on top of. And then it all flows back down to, the user experience is extremely good, where if you're clicking a trade on your wallet, it happens, within seconds, and it feels very fast, closer to a Web2 experience. We know that crypto users want that experience. If not, they're just going to trade on a centralized exchange, which is not helpful for our long-term vision. And then, of course, Solana's community is unmatched. The amount of kind of user focus of the teams building on Solana, I think, is paramount, where it feels much closer to something that they're used to. So if you have a friend that hasn't used crypto before, but they trade on Solana, it doesn't feel like a clunky, expensive system that is completely different than what they're used to. And so I'd say all of it is Solana is really firing on all cylinders, and the combination of community, user focus, and underlying tech is unparalleled right now in crypto.
What is your highlight on the staking summit this year so far, or what is on your agenda for the next day?
Yeah, the highlight so far is just the amount of really thoughtful and interesting people that are in attendance. That it's a long way for some people, but everyone knew that this would be a great event. And so the number of people that I haven't seen in ages, or the new people I've met, and kind of talking about the ways that Solana and the validator economy in general will be evolving has been great so far.
Cool, perfect. That's great to hear. And maybe for the last thing, what would you like to share from Jito Foundation, Jito Labs to the community, to the audience? Is there something upcoming what you would like to share? Any resources, how people can get to know you better from Jito?
Yeah, no, I would say, check out our website. It's Jito.network. It has great resources on how things are evolving. Jito Network launched restaking 2 months ago. In that period, it's been the highest real yield generating restaking network in all of crypto. It's continuing to gain traction as that market matures. And so a lot of things are happening. There's also a new mechanism where something called priority fees on Solana can be distributed. So a lot is happening, and check out Jito.network and you can learn about all of it.
Perfect. So I would say thanks for being with us today. Thanks for sharing your wisdom here. The schedule is tight, so we need to keep it short, but thanks for making it, and wishing you a great Staking Summit 2025.
Thanks a lot for having me.